It's condescending and self-defeating. You know, that's the typical instinct of higher status groups. The instinct is to attribute lower status groups' disadvantage to their own character flaws. We're most familiar with this in the United States in the context of ugly stereotypes of African Americans, that African Americans are more subordinated because they're stereotypes that they're, lazy, that kind of thing. That is the natural instinct of elites to attribute lack of advantage to a character flaw. And this instinct of uh, elites to say that the far right populism stems from the character flaws of the people who vote for the likes of Nigel Farage or Donald Trump is just another example of elites attributing the differences between them and non-elites to the character flaws of the people who are less privileged. It's very unseemly. In the United States, anyway, we tend not to do it in the context of race, but there is a real blindness to class in the United States. And ironically, although in Britain you folks have a lot less trouble conceptualizing class, somehow people haven't understood that far-right populism and the success of far-right populism is all about social class. What the research shows is that the people who have veered to the far right, it's a very specific group of voters in country after country. It's middle status people in routine jobs who are kind of holding on for dear life, but feel very precarious economically. Those are the core working class voters of the far right. And partly this becomes it very much a class issue. It also becomes an issue of geography. For example, in the US, it's often voters in the what we call the Rust Belt, the formerly industrial Midwest. That's one of the key strengths of the far right. And of course, in Britain, it's the formerly industrialized North. And that's because neoliberalism was a sort of political and economic system that not only radically increased inequality between people, it radically increased inequality between regions. And you have these left behind regions, both in your country and mine. And people are very angry. I'll just give one other fact, which I think is so important. In the United States, wages used to rise when productivity rose in the decades after World War II. If that had continued, wages would be 43% higher than they are today. So people often ask, why are these people so angry? They're angry because they got screwed. That's why they're angry.